Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this evening's Licensing and Regulatory Committee meeting. Can I draw everyone's attention to page 3 within the agenda, which sets out details regarding fire safety instructions and the webcasting arrangements. In the event of a fire alarm sounding, please leave the building via the nearest exit and make your way to the assembly point located in the Market Car Park adjacent to the Civic Suite building. Please do not return to the building unless given permission by council staff. You hear right? Apologies for absence, item 1. Councillor, we have apologies from Councillor Lisa Newport, Councillors Squires Goldman and Councillor Sutton. Thank you. Item 2, minutes of the meeting held on 24th November 25. Are the minutes agreed, members? No issues, thank you. Item 3, minutes of the subcommittee meeting held on the 21st of January 26. I understand that just Councillor Wilson and myself were present. So are you in agreement? I'm in agreement. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions on those? Thank you, members. Item 4, to receive declarations of interest. If anybody has any declarations, no, thank you. Item 5, public questions on notice. There have been none received. Item 6 is to review a statement of licensing policy under the Licensing Act 2003. The report begins on page 15. The Licensing Act requires local councils to review their statement of licensing policy every 5 years. A reviewed policy has been prepared and has been subject to the public consultation. This report considered the consultation response before referral to council adoption. Do we have any questions, members? Yeah, Councillor Cross.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. The Ask for Angela scheme was brought up, well, it's actually in the minutes. A motion was passed at the last meeting. Recommendation to be added to that taxi drivers are to be made aware of the Ask for Angela scheme. The motion was approved unanimously. I can find nothing in the taxi scheme policy that refers to Ask for Angela. So, pardon? Okay, my apologies. I'll come on to that later then. Forewarned.
Thank you, Councillor Cross. Are there any other questions? Councillor Constable.
How much has actually changed from the last policy to this policy? I looked through it and I looked through the other one and I couldn't see what the differences were. Is it possible we could have just a quick highlight or resume of what's changed, please?
Thank you, Councillor Constable. I believe very little, but I'll ask, is it Paul or Brad? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, very little has actually changed. I think the only addition to the policy was the reference to the Ask for Angela scheme, sort of drawing licensees' attention to that, and drink spiking as well, as has been mentioned in that. There's been some minor refreshes to some of the changes in process and procedures, etc. But yeah, that's really the only change that the policy has.
Thank you, Paul. Any other? Councillor Cross.
Yes, sorry, I didn't mean taxis. I meant licensed premises. Yes, it is mentioned in the licensing premises policy, but I thought, it's kind of not Weasley words, but it's kind of very weak, I think. And I think the essence of the motion when it was brought forward was to make it not compulsory, because I think we can't do that, but this is kind of, well, we advise you to mention it, but not strongly engage with it, which I think was the purpose of the motion, that licensed premises should be not compelled, but strongly advised to bring in that scheme. I think these words are a little bit weak, if I may say so. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I understand that as far as licensing is concerned, this cannot be conditioned, but I'll pass this over to Paul if you have anything. Thank you.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, as far as conditioning premises to implement the Ask for Angela scheme, it wouldn't be lawful under the Licensing Act 2003. Each case has to be judged on its own merits. Obviously, we've indicated that applicants should consider the Ask for Angela scheme if it's relevant to their type of premises and their style of their premises within that. I think outside of the policy, obviously, there is work that goes on with the responsible authorities, when applications are submitted. So both the police and ourselves would look at applications, and particularly the police would be looking to push the Ask for Angela scheme where applications sort of, where premises that are being applied for would benefit from that type of scheme. So, albeit it's not as strongly worded as I think we would have liked, but by way of condition of the licence, I'm confident that there is adequate opportunity for proper engagement with those premises that really need to sort of be considering that. It's not relevant for every type of premises that's covered by a premises licence. Bearing in mind that off licences, supermarkets, etc., are also covered by premises licences and covered by this policy. Premises that are part of that nighttime economy generally are the ones that it's more relevant to. I'm not suggesting that other ones aren't, but just trying to summarise it quickly. That's generally the ones that we would aim to sort of concentrate on.
Thank you, Paul. Councillor Cross.
Yeah, thanks for that answer, Paul. I'm a bit disappointed. I think the type of premises is irrelevant. If a woman or a man is being abused, the scheme is designed to make whoever that licence holder is aware of the situation they're in. So I think the premises is actually irrelevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Oh, Councillor Stanley.
Thank you, Chair. When this scheme that we've just been spoken about, I do think that we need to promote it somehow through either our literature or whatever it is that we put out when people get a licence. Because as it's been reported already, that it's not just to do with bars or pubs or restaurants and that sort of thing where alcohol is taken. It's just that it can be helpful to whoever it may be going into a off licence or a liquor store of some sorts, so that they have the ability to contact somebody. And I do think that we need to promote it further. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. A friend, actually a colleague, has just done got the personal licence, and it is brought up, and they do consider it, and it is they are educated on that. So I know that personal that does happen. I don't know if Paul has any further comments.
I think it's not just obviously the licensing policy. We've got the pub watch that exists, and it's something that is discussed and is pushed through the pub watch. As I say, there are lots of other organisations and institutes that are involved around the licensed trade, the British Beer and Pub Association and the like. It's very much a sort of cumulative, push to try and push this out. And I think it's all about trying to engage with the right type of premises, with the right type of message. And it's very easy to bombard premises with everything. But, things like your off licenses, the main focus around there is underage sales and sort of, proxy sales around underage drinking. And there's a lot of time and effort by trading standards, particularly, around those sorts of products. Whereas, the bars, the clubs, the night time, there's a different sort of discussion that's had with them around different things. So, there's quite a healthy pub watch here in Rochford. And, Ask for Angela does feature in some of those discussions, as well as, Essex Police at certain times throughout the year. There's some campaigns that go on to try and push this stuff, certainly around, Christmases and holidays and sort of busier periods, etc. So it is a scheme that is well publicised anyway. It's certainly something that we are very supportive of. and there are some dates throughout the year where the council is involved in things like the White Ribbon days and things like that. That we do look at sort of trying to promote these things, both with us through the Community Safety Partnership, and other sort of organisations like that.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, yeah, Councillor.
Thank you, Chair. Do we have any leaflets on that scheme that we could actually pass on when licences are granted, that we can actually put that in the envelope with the licence so that can be put up? Because I put this to you, that it could be that the person that's buying the alcohol is being persuaded to buy it. It's like a drug. It's like a drug user. They persuade somebody to go in there and buy it, and we could then help that person that's being persuaded to do that sort of thing to seek advice. I just wondered if we might be able to do that.
I think that is the point of Ask Angela, isn't it? Is that if there is an issue, they can ask for Angela,
Yes,
and then
yes, they can ask for advice.
then they intervene.
What can be done?
But
Yeah.
I believe that we do I believe that we do hand out literature.
I mean, we've certainly got access to literature, and most of it is available online these days, that people can download stuff and produce stuff themselves. Lots of bigger organisations and brewery companies and retailers have their own promotional material anyway. So, yeah, we can certainly signpost people to that. I don't think we keep a stock of leaflets in a cupboard anymore at the council, but we can certainly look at, perhaps with the letter that accompanies the issuing of licences, perhaps putting some links onto the letter. I don't think it's there at the moment, but it certainly wouldn't hurt to look at incorporating that.
Councillor Cross.
Thank you, Chair. I don't want to ramble on about this, but Appendix 1 or Appendix A does give a list of 27 responses to, in the column headed Ask for Angela, but what do they actually agree with? What was the question? Thank you.
Paul.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find which page you're referring to. Sorry. I think it was the insertion of the paragraph that we did, and whether they were supportive of that.
It was the answer to a question asked on the subject, I presume. Interestingly, I'm really sad. I listened to the Archers still, and somebody went into the Bull and asked for Angela, and nobody knew what they were talking about. So it was really educational, and that's how I knew a lot more about it. Are there any other questions? No. Thank you very much. As there are no further questions, I will move to the recommendations set out on page 15 of the report. Are members happy to take these en bloc? Thank you. Recommendation 1, consider the consultation response as in Appendix A. Recommendation 2, to the policy as in Appendix B, be referred to Council for adoption. Do I have a seconder? Take your pick. Which one is it? Councillor Wilson, thank you. I'd like to move to the vote then, please. That's in favour of recommendation 1 and 2. In favour of, please. That's unanimous. Thank you very much, members. Item 7. The report begins on page 55. The Department for Transport have published the taxi and private hire vehicle licensing best practice guidance for licensing authorities in England, which sets out guidance that is primarily intended to assist licensing authorities in setting their local policy. This report considers that the consultation responses to the proposed revisions before agreeing adoption. Members, do I have any questions, please? Councillor Cross.
Thank you, Chair. I refer you to my earlier question, which was that a motion was passed requiring taxi drivers to be aware of the Ask for Angela scheme, and I can see no reference to it in the new taxi policy. Thank you.
I'm pretty certain I remember the fact that we suggested it, but I think, Paul, for some reason, it wasn't recommended.
I think our understanding from the recommendation was that we were to communicate about the Ask for Angela scheme to the licensed taxi trade, and that certainly has been done by way of sort of mail shot and some information that's gone out to all drivers, operators, vehicle owners. That's been done once since then, shortly after the meeting, not too many weeks after the meeting. It's something that we can repeat throughout the year. I'm quite happy to do that throughout the year. But yeah, haven't actually incorporated anything into the policy because I think my understanding of the motion was for it to be communicated out to the trade. I think that was the request at the time.
Sorry? Can you tell what minute?
Can we refer back to the minutes of the meeting where that motion was passed?
I can't at the moment. Paul, can we have anything?
Shall I read them?
Do you have them now?
Yeah, I do, yes. On page 6, actually. Councillor Angela A. Marriott moved a motion, seconded by Councillor Lisa Newport, recommendation to be added that taxi drivers are to be made aware of the Ask for Angela scheme. The motion was approved unanimously.
I understand that they have been made aware of it. Can you tell me what date that was, please, Councillor? Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions? Sorry, do you have a supplementary?
Well, yeah, I think if they're to be made aware of it, it should be in the report, shouldn't it?
Can we come back to you on that outside of the meeting, please? Okay, any further questions? As Councillor, sorry, Councillor Stanley.
Thank you, Chair. I understand that the vehicle is to be replaced every 6 years. I don't know if I've read that correctly. Is that to do with the private hire and also the taxis themselves?
So the age limit. Sorry.
Paul, thank you.
Sorry. So the age limit for vehicles, both for private hire and Hackney carriage, has been removed. So there's no requirement.
Sorry?
There is no requirement now
There
to
isn't.
replace a vehicle after a certain age limit, providing that vehicle passes all the tests, etc. That vehicle can be kept for longer now.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Okay, thank you, members. As there are no further questions, I will move recommendations set out on page 55 of the report. Are you happy to take these on block, members? Thank you very much. Recommendation 1, to consider the consultation response to the revised Hackney carriage and private hire licensing policy.
Excuse me, Chair. But it's only to consider.
Yep.
R1, R2 is to approve. So we only need to do R2, don't we?
Well, it's to approve that we consider it, I guess. Thank you. Recommendation 2, to approve the Hackney carriage and private hire licence policy as the Appendix B that will come into effect from 1st of April 2026. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Shaw, Lauren Shaw. I'm going to vote for a show of hands, please. Those in favour? Okay. Those against, please? The motion is carried. Thank you, members. Members, this concludes our business for this evening. Thank you for your attendance, and presume this will be the last one for this year. Thank you.